The channel reached 750 subscribers, so now it's time for the second personal survival world tour. It's just occurred to me, I don't know if I turned my render distance down. Okay, now it's loading. So to give you some background on this world that we've spawned into, I started it using the coastal village seed that used to be in the seed picker back before 1.18. You might be able to see in the distance over there the parts of the village. Fortunately, I had the presence of mind to clean up this area because it used to be filled with chests and barrels, and some of which were repurposed here to help me have a more organized fishing area. I have a bunch of my fishing rods in here. This is the barrel where I pick up my main fishing rod, and then I can, dump all of the stuff that's in my inventory. That way I don't have to deal with inventory issues when I just want to fish. And then I think these barrels are dedicated to various... Well, this one's empty, but yeah, some of these other ones I have a bit more organized. That way I know how to organize the drops I get from fishing, because it's very easy to just get kind of overwhelmed with all the books and the bows and the other various pieces that you might not necessarily have a use for at that exact moment. And then I've just left an anvil and a grindstone here because, sometimes you just need some more levels, and the bows and fishing rods that you get, sometimes they're not that great, and the only value they have is the XP. But if we continue on, I'll show you the first thing that I made. I didn't start with all of these walls and fences around here, but in this area there was one of those underground lakes that used to be included in the generation. I had to dig a whole bunch of dirt away from on top of this. But then once I had done that, I really liked the shape of this pond, so I decided to build some farmland around it. But obviously this isn't very practical for farming, so if you go under the water here, this is where I have my actual farms that I use to get crops to sell to the farmers in the village. I have pumpkins on the side in this part, as well as some potatoes, carrots, and beetroot. But if we go over now to the other side of the pond, I have another underground farm area, and instead of pumpkins on this side, I have watermelon, but again, it's just more of the same with the potatoes, carrots, and beetroot. If we return to the surface, you'll see that on the other side of this little 2x2 area. I made this area before I really got comfortable with the idea of making automatic wool farms, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this being a sheep pen or if I'm going to end up relocating these sheep to an automatic wool farm. I mean, I did get all of the netherite gear that I really wanted, so I don't know that I need to go bed mining anytime soon, but it's an idea that I could keep in mind. Anyway, up from there we have the horse stable, where I keep my horses as well as the donkeys. And then you'll see that there's some more farmland up on top of this little structure here. If we go into the structure, I have these barrels, which are where I keep my saddles, because where else am I going to keep them? The horses are right here, so it makes sense. If we go up this ladder, you'll see I have more farmland. And I learned something very recently, because when I went to go flip up this trapdoor to show you the bed I have here, you'll see that this has a button on it, and that one doesn't. I don't know if at some point they must have removed the ability to place buttons on top of walls. So anyway, I have to be very careful to not dismantle those, because I feel like I have an obligation to, since it seems like something that can no longer be done. Anyway, I put this bed up here because originally the bed was all the way over there by the fishing area, and so I didn't want to have to, if I was working up here, I didn't want to have to go down there just to sleep, because sometimes that happens when you're tending farmland, is it's dark and you just want it to be light again, especially before I got all of the lanterns in place to keep everything nice and lit. But there is a problem with using this bed, which you'll see when I use it here in a moment. Because you'd think you'd get put on the farmland, but nope, you get thrown out onto the side. I'm guessing it has something to do with what blocks they believe the player can stand on. I'm not sure why I get thrown off the side, but it is at least mildly humorous. And past the horse area, I have a cow pen, because you kind of always need leather if you want to be able to make bookshelves, and I like having bookshelves. So on our way back to the entrance of the house, I'll show you on the way this chicken coop I made. Now, it used to be, before they updated it so that you could crouch, I had to flip this up whenever I wanted to go in, but now that I can crouch, I can just walk on in, and I have to say, that makes me very, very happy that they made that change. The other thing I think they changed is I used to be able to flip this open, and as you can see, a chicken tries to escape, and that used to not be the case. I'm guessing they must have changed something with the way... Wait, why am I doing that? I don't have to do that. I'm guessing that has to do with them somehow changing something with chicken's AI. I have this small little... I guess this isn't technically a fountain. I don't know what to call this. But it just seemed right because I did need light in this area because I have lights over there. I have lights there and there and there, but I didn't have a light source right here next to the chickens, and I felt like they needed something so that this area was a bit less dreary at night. Yeah, I have one of those little lampstands over there, and then I have one here next to the pig pen, where I use coarse dirt and some podzol, because I feel like that just makes sense for a pig pen. Maybe I should mix in some coarse dirt in the middle of that big podzol area, because it does look odd for it to just be podzol now that I'm thinking about it, but that is a problem I can handle in the future. You will see that I did put some vines on that wall, because I felt like I needed to grow more vines, especially because of all the various mossy stone brick you see, but the issue is the pigs would occasionally climb up it, and I didn't want them to accidentally climb out, so I did put in these pieces of string. So far they haven't gotten out, so hopefully it stays that way. Up above the pig pen is where I keep my fastest horse. He also has a 5-block jump, which is obviously very nice, as well as the donkeys. I'm trying to get a better donkey, because that's, I guess, supposed to be possible. I don't know if it will ever work. We'll have to see. But now we're at the front of the house, which is made using blue terracotta, because that's what the stonemason who generated in the village happened to be selling. It's a little closer to purple, but I like purple, so it works out for me. And you'll see I used a lot of jungle wood, because that's... I saw a shipwreck out in the ocean somewhere over there, and it happened to have a lot of jungle wood, so I repurposed that in here because I thought that would be a nice way to I just thought that was a nice way to add to the house's lore by incorporating pieces from the shipwreck. But anyway, across from the front door is this archway that leads into the kitchen. Since I play in peaceful mode and this world does not have a filled-in end portal anywhere nearby, at least as far as I know, I don't have shulker boxes, but like the previous world, I do have an ice box. But in addition to the icebox, I also have some other barrels with various things that I thought kind of make sense to have in a kitchen, and frankly, I'm not sure where else to put these things that I'm actually going to remember where they are. And if we go through this smaller archway, you will see that I have this little dining area over here. This is a single-player world. I don't know why I made there be a table with 4 chairs, but I guess this is a way to make it feel like a real house, and again, not just a building in Minecraft. Over here I have the fireplace that I usually like to make, where I put the smeltables in there, then the fuel in that barrel over there. And I think this is where I first had the idea to do this trick using alternating stairs to make a slightly less flat wall. And honestly, it's not like there's anything super useful in here. Mainly this is just here for the composter, because especially in the early days before I thought to put up an automatic composter system, I just needed a place where I could get bone meal, and this felt like a good way to break up the space, because otherwise if this whole area is just open, it just felt very empty. So now if we make a right, we'll go past the kitchen, and we'll come to yet another spiral staircase like the last world. And instead of going down, I think we'll go up first this time. And so up here on this first level, I have more bookshelves. This was before they added the chiseled bookshelves in the... I forget what update that was. So that's why I'm using some loom blocks. I'll probably end up replacing those at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it. As you can see, I've done more of this alternating stair pattern for the various walls. If you've seen some of my other videos, you probably recognize this area, though either I got rid of the armor stand that was here, or maybe there never was an armor stand here, and I set up that preview in like a creative copy of this world. I don't know. But anyway, through these doors, I have my bedroom. I keep an armor stand here with my turtle helmet, because, you know, we're so close to the ocean, it would be almost sad if I didn't have a turtle helmet in this world. I have my crafting table, as well as some decoration over there, so that this room feels a little less sterile. And then over here, I have a wardrobe, which is actually functional. Down here, I keep just the armor bits that I think these are the things I picked up as loot. But then up here in this, I have a full backup set of netherite, because, again, when I learned that they were going to make upgrading to netherite much more difficult, I didn't really want to have to deal with that. But anyway, if we go back over here and through this door, again, it doesn't serve much functional purpose, but I just think there is something nice about having a bathroom in your survival world. I don't know why. It serves no functional purpose. I don't think I've ever used this composter, because at least the one on the bottom floor, it has the proximity to the door in its favor that it could actually be useful. But this one, it's purely decorative, but I kind of like the way it turned out. Again, it makes it feel like an actual home. If we go down this way, now, this, it makes sense for me to have a guest bedroom, because even though I don't get guests, I do have my cats, and I am very happy for them to have a space. I should probably put an armor stand there, but of course, since this is the cat's room, this is where I keep the drops that they give if I just so happen to sleep in this room, which actually, you know what, I might just go ahead and see what they give me, just to see what happens. And it's string. Very good, Olive. Very good. I'll leave you and your brother to sit there and be good. Alright, and then over through here we have, again, I don't know what else to do with this space, but I made a very small guest bathroom. Again, it serves no functional purpose, but it's a way to use this space where at least I have it broken up so that it's not just plain empty space. Though there is one functional piece of this, which is in these barrels, I keep turtle eggs, and I also keep materials for making a conduit. I haven't done it yet, because I just haven't really found a reason to have a conduit. Maybe that's a goal I should set for myself in this world. But that's something to handle in the future. If we send this one more time, we come up here to the attic area, and this is where I do most of my bulk storage of various blocks. It's still a work in progress, because you can see a lot of these barrels do not have a sign on them. Again, I did break up the space over here. It doesn't really change that much, because I think the only thing back here is just various minecart things, which I fortunately had the wisdom to break up before the change, where they made it so that you couldn't break a chest with a minecart and get two separate items instead of it just being one. And then over here I keep my extremely valuable goods, my diamonds. I think I used to have netherite in here. I must have moved it someplace else. And then over through this door, I need to figure out something to do with this. I don't know what. I'll figure that out some other time. But over here is where I have a map. Now, I've explored this map. I haven't explored the surrounding areas. I probably should. That's something I should probably do, especially because this seed was generated pre 1.18, so it would be nice if I could figure out in which of these 9 blocks, maybe I could see if any of these 9 blocks has an ancient city, or even some warm underwater ruins so that I could get some sniffer eggs. That would probably be a good idea. But anyway, that concludes looking at the attic, so we'll safely take the stairs down, and we'll go down to the basement, which is where I have some smelting arrays, I have a grindstone and an anvil, I have a map of the immediate area. I kind of like the way that the black stone roof with the quartz trim looks. It just looks very nice with all the high contrast. And then over to the right, I just so happen to have access to the top main floor smelter, which sometimes it's useful, especially if I get empty buckets, because then I can refill them down here with the lava farm I've got running here in the background. And of course, over here on the right, I have the nether portal, which I haven't done a whole lot in, but I'll show it to you anyway. So, as you might have been able to guess if you've seen some of my other videos, I've decided to make use of the drip leaf to acquire items that might otherwise be extremely difficult. And so I've went ahead and I think I've gotten every dye color of concrete, and I've filled a barrel with each. And then I've also gone ahead and I've gotten anvils and sand, sandstone, as well as the red sand and sandstone. Because even though I haven't necessarily used those blocks a whole lot in this world, I just think it's nice to have them, because that means that future me will have an easier time making plans, because it won't be as nerve-wracking to commit to making those sorts of things. If we head back up here a little bit past the nether portal, I do have these two nitwits here just because I didn't want them to add to the cap in the village, but I have to figure out something to do with them. I don't know what. Also, I've noticed something that's a bit strange. You see how they look at me here on this side? If I go up, they don't really seem to follow, and I don't know if that's normal or if there's something else causing that. But anyway, behind the portal, you'll see I have these stairs, and these go all the way down to the layer where I am able to mine netherite. Or I guess more accurately, ancient debris. And so here I have a whole bunch of furnaces. I have a lava trough, which I've emptied because of all the smelting I've had to do. But again, there's not a whole lot down here. I think I did make a very long tunnel over that way because for some reason, the nearest patch of warped forest, which I needed if I wanted to get some warped nylium and twisted vines, was many, many chunks in that direction. But I'll show you where I ended up putting the warped nylium very shortly, once we return to the overworld. Alright, so we'll go back up these spiral stairs. We're gonna, instead of going out the back door or the front door, we'll go out the side door. And hello, are you selling anything that I want? You are not selling anything I want. Okay, so back out here this way, I have a dock, which the boat... How did the boat end up over there? Did I jump out over there? That defeats the entire purpose of having this dock. Anyway, I thought having this dock would be a nice feature of this coastal area, and again, if you've seen some of my other videos, you might recognize this dock, actually. But you might see behind us, to the, well, it's the left on your screen, but it's my right. Yeah, if we go inside the greenhouse, you'll see I have all these little, areas for the plants to grow in, and there's also ladders, because up here in the attic of this greenhouse, I have some storage for seeds, mushrooms, flowers, and other various plant things. But of course, this is kind of a small area to have this be all of my crop farm area. So if we go down this ladder, the plan with this was, I have that small greenhouse. The plan with this was to have a crop farm that would go all the way down to bedrock layer, and I did that once, and you would think that once would be the only time you would need to do it, but like I said, this world was generated before 1.18. In fact, to give you some history on this world, it looks like I started this world exactly 4 years ago when I'm recording this. From what I can tell, it looks like I started this world on May 1st, 2020. I'll let you fill in the gaps of why I would have started in 2020. Anyway, you can see that we're already down to Y level 4. So this used to be the last layer of the farm, because obviously then there was just bedrock, but thanks to 1.18, now there's more, and I had the idea, instead of just accumulating all this deep slate, which I'm not really going to use, why don't I turn it into moss? Because moss is actually a very nice and useful building block. And since I have the composting array, you would think that would be a nice and easy thing for me to do. But unfortunately, it's taken a bit longer to get that done than I would have liked. And so, past this point, there's not much to show you other than just more stone, so I'll take you the rest of the way. I did dig down to bedrock a second time, and down here I have an automatic bamboo, cactus, and sugarcane farm, as well as all these little leaves so that I can be able to get mangrove propagules, because it's nice to be able to farm them in this way. And if we go down this absolute last set of stairs, you'll see the real reason why I want to dig all the way down to bedrock, and it's because it makes me feel better to know that I'm digging into bedrock to try and farm basalt, as opposed to something which, in theory, I could accidentally break. I just realized I almost forgot to show you what I ended up doing with the warped nylium. So, as you can see, there is an area that ended up being a bit open. I thought it was all just going to be solid as I went to build the farm, but clearly that didn't happen. But the nice thing is that there's this cave, and this cave is absolutely tall enough that I can grow nether fungi here. Because I used to do this on the surface in an area in front of the house, and it was kind of unsightly to have all of this nylium just on the ground. And so I have this area now that I can, if I bring bone meal, I can just go ahead and I can grow whatever fungi I want to, and I can tear them down, and this scaffolding obviously helps to get on top of the fungi to be able to dismantle them. Again, like the last world, I didn't feel like figuring out how to do an automatic farm, because that just... I don't know, I just don't derive a lot of joy from making those kinds of farms. But anyway, we can now use the water elevator to get back to the top very quickly. And if we go back outside, you'll see I have a bunch of pens with llamas, and actually this is the area where the nylium used to be, but I wanted to acquire llamas, because again, since I can't get shulker boxes in this world, it's nice to be able to have some way to transport blocks. I don't think I've actually used them all that much, but I think that's because I had to spend a lot of time getting them together, and I just haven't had the time in this particular world with everything else going on in my life. But that reminds me, there is a savanna over there, because that's how I got these llamas. I should probably work at getting wolf armor for my 2 wolves over there. So that is something that I will have to make plans to do at some point. But anyway, if we follow this path that I've made past the other llamas I acquired, I think I looked up what the maximum is for a caravan, and I think I acquired that many of each type of llama, just because I thought it would be nice to have. Again, just because I'm not using it yet doesn't mean that future me won't use it. So we'll go over here, and this is where the village is. Haven't completely remodeled it. Honestly, that's the sad thing, is this world I've had for about 4 years, but I don't think I'm as far along in building it as I am with the first one. I think just because I got so enthralled with shulker boxes that I of course just wanted to play more. It also might have to do with the fact that most of my work in this world is underground in that crop farm over there. Anyway, this townhouse here is based on a tutorial I saw on Instagram. I probably don't have the original post, unfortunately, but yeah, just so we're clear, this isn't something that I came up with completely on my own, because like I had to think, how am I going to be able to organize the various villagers I have, so that I can more easily access them to be able to handle the trades that need to be done. I don't have any villagers right here, but I think I have more on the other side. Yes, I do. And you'll notice that some logs are missing. I just realized I was in the middle of renovating this, I think, one week, and then I got interrupted, and I'll have to get around to finishing that. I had ambitions also. You'll see I have a little bit of landscaping here with these azalea bushes. I had ambitions of making a much better garden type area out the back, but I haven't gotten there yet. I did make a small little dock there. I'm thinking it might be nice if I extended that out a bit more now that I think about it. So that's something I'll have to work on. It's a work in progress. And besides, I think most of my work in the village, we can say hi to the stonemason I bought all of the blue terracotta from over here. I spent most of my work in this village on this library over here. And I'm actually really happy with the way that this library turned out. Again, there's work that has to be done out back, but I really like the way that this looks. It has occurred to me that trying to show you at night might not be the best idea, so I'll probably go sleep in a moment and you can see what it looks like in the daytime. Actually, it might not look half bad, considering I think I did a halfway decent job of putting lighting everywhere, so that definitely helps. Maybe might have gone overboard with all of those oxeye daisies, but again, that's something I can revisit. You know what, on second thought, I won't skip the night. We'll just start by looking at the inside, and probably by then it will be daytime again. So we come in here, you see I have a nice open area, there's a chandelier up top, we have a librarian here to greet you. I forget if this is the mending librarian. It is. So we have our mending librarian here to help you find whatever books you need. I think I used a honey block up below that carpet, so that's why that librarian is there. Again, I can tell I was in the process. These used to be loom blocks, but obviously since I'm in a village, I had a lot of villagers trying to be shepherds, and it's not really what I want, so I'm gonna have to replace those empty spots with some chiseled bookshelves. I do have these doors back here. I haven't really done anything with this space. I guess I could just leave it be some sort of storage, but it might also be nice if there's a stairwell that leads to a secret basement of some sort. I just think that might be a nice feature to have. But if we ascend the staircase here, we'll go up to some area with some nice tables. Maybe you can meet with a group to study something. Then there's also these smaller tables over here if you're just meeting with one other person. I think I did have the passing thought that maybe it might be nice to have like a library cafe, but there's not really a space to put food-related stuff in here. I don't know, maybe I'll have to revisit that at some point. Up here, there's not much to see. I just threw in some cobwebs from the advice that some friends gave me. I feel like I need to put more things up here, though. So I'll have to figure that out. It is still night, so I'm just gonna have to borrow one of the villager beds, and then I'll show you out back. Alright, so now that it's daytime, maybe you might be able to see the outside of the library just a bit easier. So anyway, you might get a slightly better view of the outside of the library now that it's daytime, including this little bench with these flowering bushes. It has occurred to me that in the real world you might not want flowering bushes next to you because that has a tendency to attract wasps, but I mean, fortunately all of the bees are over there and they're pretty occupied with the dandelions, so I don't think they'll fly over here, but I guess it's a consideration that you might have to think about in the real world. Anyway, Outback, I had plans again to make like a good garden area back here, but I haven't gotten around to it. It took me a while just to even figure out where I would want to put like a fountain, which if I look at this sign, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to put a fountain in this area. It took me a bit to figure out what size I wanted. So I'm going to have to figure out a design, but I'm pretty sure I want it to be like this big, huge fountain. And so I'll have to figure it out. I'm not sure how far I want to go, because the only other trouble is that there's desert right there, and trying to have a lush garden next to a desert is a bit strange, but I'm sure I'll figure something out eventually. So just to give you some perspective, the townhouses I showed you are over there, the library is over there, and this is the hole. This generated this way when I first made the world. There is a hole. This is a hole that leads down to a cave, and before 1.18, this is where I came to do all of my mining. As you can see, it goes pretty deep. If we follow it, it's been a while since I've been in this world. If we follow it this direction, I think we get down to what used to be like the original like lava lake level. Yeah, so before 1.18, this was like the original lava lake level, so if we go over this way, this is where I would originally had my strip mine for diamonds, and at some point over here, I ran into a mine shaft. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but so that's where I would get my the mine carts and stuff. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably also work at getting some of the other wolf variants. But again, that's something that future me can handle. Again, thank you so much for 750 subscribers. Like the first video, I think we'll revisit this when we're at 7,500 subscribers. because hopefully that'll be enough time that I'll be able to do something a little bit more substantial. What I'd really like to do is finish that garden behind the library, and probably also work a bit more on the village, because that really needs some help. But until next time, take care. Okay, so actually I tried to replace the loom blocks with the chiseled bookshelves, and I thought it looked better, because obviously the dark in the center of the chiseled bookshelf looks much better than this I guess for lack of a better word, clay-looking texture here. I mean, if we're talking in-game, it looks more like terracotta. But there's a problem, because if I go to the back, the loom gives the same texture, but the chiseled bookshelf doesn't. And I feel like that kind of ruins the aesthetic I have going on here. The other thing I unfortunately learned, I originally made 3 of these, and you can see I only have 2. Apparently, in order to pick up chiseled bookshelves, you need Silk Touch, which in retrospect makes sense because you need Silk Touch to pick up regular bookshelves, but for some reason I didn't think of it that way, so I learned something today. So I think in here, since I don't have to worry about shepherds forming, since the village is very far away from my house, I think I'll just leave these loom blocks here. I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do for the library, though, because just having the back of this block, I don't know that I like that. I mean, I understand why they don't have it double-sided, because then you have to question, do you reference the same books on both sides? Are they supposed to be different books? Because you see the spines and not the inside of the book. So yeah, I don't have an answer there, but this is definitely making me rethink some of my plans.